Hi, I'm Ho Sheo Be from Zaobao. Just a question for DPM. Sorry to press on the same question that Warren just pointed out, but we are quite puzzled with your citation of health as well as age as the considerations, because in 2018, when you were chosen as the 4G leader, you were already recovering well from the stroke. As for age, well, we all see that younger leaders are no longer the norm. So why the decision? Especially why now, when we are still fighting the COVID pandemic? I have yet another question. We would like to find out what is your thinking process. When was it that you first started to mull over this whole issue of succession? Thank you.
Well, Sheo Be, I think first. Well, first on your first question about about my health. I mean, after all, I as you said, I've recovered, and indeed the doctors certified that I had a clean bill of health, and I returned to work because I was confident that my health allowed it. But COVID-19 has really forced us to relook many issues, including succession. And as I said, a post-COVID world will be a very different world. And when I was preparing the 5 budget last year, I kept thinking about what is different, what is going to be different. And I have to say that each time as I look at it, there are some trends which I think are indeed going to be very different. And along the way, I added new things that I think is going to be a very different world. Now, so while my health is good now, and I really am very thankful to my medical team for taking such great care of me and the support of my family and friends and colleagues, it is a decision that I made taking into account my experience working with working with Mr. Goh, and of course working with PM. So I was PPS to and I had many sessions, many conversations with him. And he has been extremely careful about his health. But even then, he would from time to time say, it is different when you are older. I worked with ESM when he was Prime Minister. I was PMSEC in the Ministry of Trade Industry. We had many overseas trips, many international conferences. I also had the privilege of observing him at close range. And similarly with PM. So this job of leading the nations places exceptional demands on the person, on the office holder. And while my health is not an issue today, I think it is better. But my age, I am 60 this year, and by the time I take over, because of the COVID, that has been disrupted, and by the time I'll be close to my mid-60s, and with each passing year, I think it will be different, because I think for most jobs. And I think the 60s can be a very productive time of life for most of us. But I think the top job imposes exceptional demands on the office holder. And having thought about it very carefully, having discussed with my family, I thought it is better that I step aside, have someone younger with a longer runway who can re-examine many of the issues that we have been looking at, come with a fresh mind, and greater vitality to deal with this very difficult, very challenging situation. Yeah. On your question about when did I start thinking about it? Well, I started thinking about it when I was appointed, because I do not want to take on any job which I cannot deliver. As those of you who have worked with me know, I am a workaholic, and I put my heart and soul into what I do, and therefore I've been thinking about it as to whether am I the right person? And last year's pandemic was a real turning point, because I don't think in the history of Singapore that we had a finance minister that had deliver 5 budgets in 1 year. But I am thankful that I have a very good team who work very well with me, and that we were able to do what we had to do under very exceptional circumstances. And given that, crisis is not going to be once in a long while affair, in the last 20-odd years, I've gone through 3 major crises: Asian financial crisis, a global financial crisis, and now the pandemic. Each one worse than the previous. So I think it is better for someone who is younger, who have a longer runway, to take on this job.